All right, let's chill for a little bit, huh? How's it going? Let's change some settings here, just to make sure everything's working well. Why that's turned down? Don't know why that's turned down. There we go. Hopefully audio is alright. Hopefully. Anyways, welcome. Anyone who's gonna chill with us. We're checking out another little bit of a single player instance. Just kind of finalizing the 80 to 90 mods we're gonna have on the server. Next month, I think, is when I want to launch this thing, so hopefully that works out. Let's create a world and give this a little bit of a test run here. Give ourselves a 10-day grace period to mimic what we'll do on the save, and then 30-minute drop timer. I'm going to keep the world height, I think, the complete default. I feel like the game runs better with that. Turn off fire by lightning. 10 HP. Everything else is going to be normal though, basically. Prop pick. I kind of want to have prop pick turned off. Kind of want to have the prop pick turned off for this next save. Or on the server. Or at least the node search radius. Do what? That. 3 respawns. Yes. Disabled. World Gen. 60%, 200% sized oceans. Upheaval rate 0. Landform scale 200%. And then down here, I think forest, I go plus 25%. Apply. Let's do test server. Let's see how that goes. I'm gonna get a couple little errors on generation, but nothing, I don't think that'll affect the server itself. Specifically, it looks like the Claywork mod has a couple errors with patching resources, specifically the clay and Claywork item resources, but I'll go through and test that. I think it'll work just fine, honestly, regardless. So I'm going to do this in survival mode as an initial test. I like testing this stuff in survival mode. That way I actually go through the motions rather than just spawning things in. Spawning things in is easy. It's the testing usability and crafting is the more time consuming aspect for sure. I mean, it's a good sign, honestly, that we can load in with 86 mods. That's always a good sign. Alright. A couple initial mods that you'll notice is we have the horns and antlers enabled, so if you eventually, you know, want to just make your character a little bit more fantasy-like, you can. Did you fix her stuff? What do you mean? I don't know C# lumber. That's your job. That's your job. No, I haven't fixed her shit. Let's do goblin ears. Something a little bit more droopy. Rust mage. Where the heck? Alright, spawned in a tree. Good start. Solid start. We got river. That's a good sign. I mean lumber. If you want, we can hop on Discord and we talk. We can talk and discuss plans. Or are we keeping that on hush hush still? So no one copies the grand plan. Are you actually working on that this weekend? Because I think tomorrow's when I will go ahead and just model everything out. There's a new model maker that they have in the game too, that they just I think are beta testing for animations and stuff. So I want to take a look at that. Hush hush so the smarter people don't take our idea. I'm gonna try and make some time tomorrow. Okay. Well, if you start working on it tomorrow, and you just want to chill on Discord while you're doing stuff, ping me and we can hang out. Otherwise, you know, abandon me like everyone else. That's fine too. We got Toolworks or Toolsmith installed on the server, so making this isn't the actual server. This is single player, but. Also, there's going to be horses. And stuff. Which are cool. Let's follow up this river to like maybe the next forested area. For now, we'll just gather some rocks and some flints. Maybe make our first starter knife here. Need to see if we can make a whetstone to sharpen the tools, though. Let's see, what stone types do we have around here? This is granite. Awesome. Use that. Sharpen this knife blade before we combine it up. Okay. Music level is a touch high. Just a touch high. Also, I should talk about that, even though it doesn't matter right now, but at least it's working. RP voice chat works. Little HUD elements is working. Go and attach this to a stick. And then, do we have enough for a rope? A rope would be good. Maybe. You excited to see this? Yeah. But just story is just the game I come back to nowadays. For sure. And now with Hightail, everyone's hopes and dreams have been crushed there. So we kind of only have vintage story from like a Minecraft perspective, like competitor perspective now. So alright, cool. I can make a rope. Throw that on my offhand. Attach that to the tool and handle, and then boom, we get a knife with a decent amount of durability. Not a crazy amount, definitely decent. Hello, pony. Yeah, let's check out this river. Might be a good place to settle down. Also, we need some dry grass. character's a little cold, huh? Jack-o'-lanterns. That killed Lumberjack last time, so we will not eat any of those. They don't taste like pumpkins. Still no sedge, Lumberjack. Still no sedge. It's a sad day for you, I know. But there will be no sedge. This is a decent little river here. Just drink some water. There's a cave right here. Something. Yeah, character is super cold. Let's get a axe head. So I haven't messed with any of the mod configs yet. Really, I'm just testing functionality. Changing mod configs doesn't really do anything. By the way, if I do this, you can still craft the stuff the old way. If I had a binder like a rope or something, I think you can. Or do you have to do that? Like that. That's how you add the binder to the tool if you want to do it that way. I actually really prefer doing it the more immersive first person way, because that way I can at least walk around a little bit. Let's get some more ivy here. And I need to think about getting some cattails. Is there any cattails in the river? This one? Doesn't look like it. I may need to find a little pond. It's a quite branching river on this one. So we're using the River Gen mod. At least that's the plan. So this doesn't have a flowing river for it. It's a static river, which is fine. That'll make navigating up and down via boats a little smoother and faster. And also we don't have to change a mod config just to stop the river flow. There's one cattail. Hornport. Is this a binder as well? It is. We'll just use a single cattail, just so I can get an axe going. Sharpen our axe blade as well. I think I want to get a little bit of a base ASAP. Now, temporal stability over where we're at is at 79%, so that's no good from a base perspective, because our temporal stability will constantly go down. I might go to this river valley, see if it changes a little bit. I would like to be near trees as well. Sure to grab some dry grass. You have to find specific dry grass to harvest now, otherwise you get what's called essentially fresh grass, which I don't know if you're still here, Lumber. With this mod, you get silage. So congratulations, we're playing farming sim. So you actually have to make piles of grass and dry it out. So you're gonna have grass hay bales around. I'm excited. It's super snowy up there, but I can wrap around. This is a really cool spawn, honestly. And right here, actually, the stability kind of mellowed out for a second. Yeah, this, well, what I'm playing on is single player just to test mods and make sure everything's working. General is going to set up the server here soon, and then next month we'll actually launch the server for members and, you know, Red, Lumberjack, maybe Dirty, I don't know. I don't know if Dirty will join us or not. He keeps saying he's gonna practice and play, but that guy, he's so locked into Call of Duty again. And Zelda. I think Dirty would have an okay time. He just needs to get a foundation going, and I think he would enjoy it. Like, he enjoys playing Scum. And Scum is the most jank game one can even... Oh, that's a bear. Really? Oh, yeah. Didn't know I set the conditions for a raptor start. But no, he plays Scum, which is, you know, the jankiest game one can ever play. And, you know, he just needs to learn a little bit of Vintage Story. Get settled in a spot and then kind of progress, right? Because it's one of those games where if you go in blind, it can be a little hard, you know. Now, granted, there's the help menu, which will kind of give you some good basic stuff, but we have mods. I'm gonna play a little bit early, and let's just say we love creating with a bear. True. I do want to try and get Raptor in. I need him to actually play more than like for one session as well. Alright, we're slowly dying from temperature. Let's just get off this cliff. This is a crazy forest going on. I'm gonna fall in a hole and probably die. You found red clay? Yeah, red clay is more common than blue clay nowadays. In the current version of the game. Okay, this is a cool secluded valley-like thing. Here, let's get down. Please, don't fall to my death. Yeah, red clay looks like this. This is red clay. That slightly brown tannish spot right there. That's red clay. If it's darker, or more brown, then that's peat. And if it's a little bit more on the pale side, that might be blue clay for lucky. Don't die. That's a coyote right there. No. Alright, hold on. Let me get a couple cattails here. Get myself a bandage so I can hopefully heal. From both the landslide and... Oh, really? Why? We got hostile cows. We got hostile cows. This is... this is exactly how this game goes. Look, VS is super popular, I think, right now. He just needs to grind this instead. Alright. So we're back to full HP. I'm gonna come over here. We need to make a fire. Let's get to this clearing. Please tell me this clearing will actually be temporally sound, so I can build on it. Granted, we have X skills installed, so I could just put up with the temporal instability for a little while. So much forest. 30 bears in here. Oh, look, we got some reclay at the river. And a trader. Yeah, this is 1.20.12, which is the final stable release of 1.20. Alright, I think we're going to call this spot home. We got a water source. It's a little bit more open in this valley here, and we can go nearby just to gather some trees. You turned off yeah, you know, I like temporal storms, but I'm gonna have them, they're gonna be on the server. But they happen once every real life day, essentially, so you won't run into them a whole lot. Alright, let's do that, and then get some firewood going. So we can warm up. Come on. Oh man, my guy cannot rub sticks together too well today. Come on, man. Light it. Rock off. Okay, so I'm gonna put that there. That's a mod. So currently, one of the mods we'll have is immersive wood chopping and wood sawing. So you will not be able to do crafting grid wood into firewood. You have to actually chop the wood, and same thing with making planks. You have to saw the wood. All right, let's gather up some grass that we can maybe leave in a little bit of a silage pile here. Gotta try and keep this knife sharp too, so it lasts longer. Yeah, so we're going with a pretty immersive mod set, I'd say, this season. In some ways it's going to be a little bit harder, and in other ways it's going to be a lot easier. Farming, I think, is going to be one of the harder things. Yeah, I think we can make bread, like pine bark bread. Has it been nerfed to the ground yet? Yes, we can make pine bread. Is that amazing? It's only 100 food. Alright, cool. We warmed up. That's good. The character's a little on the hungry side. And we need cattails for bags. Let's go ahead and just store this resin on the ground for now, and also our dry grass on the ground. That'll leave some inventory space. I'm gonna chop a little bit of wood to get the fire going potentially, but we'll need to look for some berries or mushrooms. Berries or mushrooms, always good. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure if I do this, it won't do anything, right? Yeah, so the only way to get firewood is chop it. You gotta chop it. Little fox here. By the way, the vanilla wolves are turned off, and we have replaced them with the canine fauna of the Stone Age mod. So there's different small canines. There are wolves. The mod does add them, but it's their own version. Hey X, how's it going, man? By the way, how's the audio and everything, guys? My audio selection and devices keeps getting reset since I don't stream that often. You can do that, yes. You can definitely still, you know, grab a berry bush. After I harvest it is kind of when I move it, or if it's not in a flowering state, you can move it. And then one of our mods, you can actually make seeds from berries as well if you want to propagate them. That's a moose right by our campfire. Hey, blue flame. Let's interesting. So if you move them, they don't have to grow. No, we don't have the pet mod enabled. The only pet that you could have would be like your elk or horse for mounts. And technically, Rustbound Magic has pets, but I don't know how they work. All right, let's go. There's some berry bushes over here. What do we got? We got, oh, some actual grapes. This is from the Real Grapes mod. So they're spawning. That's cool. I think I'll take 2 of them and turn them into seeds so I can just start getting more. It'll take a while for these to grow, but plant them now, pay dividends later. More cattails down here for more baskets. So far, everything seems to be working. I'm not getting any latency issues or anything like that. Hey, Willow. Good to see you. Wow, that is some massive rivers here. When we get a bucket, we'll be able to actually propagate cattails too. Due to wild farming, I think. How's everyone's weekend going? You guys excited for July 4th? Anyone have any awesome, cool plans? obviously have the day off. I might take that Thursday off as well. Might go to the river and hang out for a day. I could do a caveman build. Or have it be built for me. What? You guys can't see anything right now. Sorry. Is that a silver knife? The binding sucks on it, but the head durability will last a while. Metal tank. I'll take the silver knife. That's fine. I don't have anything to light this fire. Oh, a handbasket. Take that. I'll leave that for now. Process of finding copper ore. That's always the first step. First step of many. Like, you're talking surface copper ore, or you're talking your actual prospect for your first mine? I don't know where that moose went. Now I'm scared. Beautiful cloud formation around. Rainfall's uncommon here. It's a little disappointing, but that's okay. It's all a low fertility soil. Literally can't see anything. Let's get some torches. Let's get some torches. At one point this comes to Steam. They have hinted that potentially they'll eventually go to Steam, but for now they're fine doing it on their kind of like own independent website. Right. Let's go get some more lumber. Something that we can easily do here at night. We'll just cut down this really tall tree here. And maybe sharpen our axe. Thought about doing combat overhaul this season of the server, but it's a little much, I think. I really do miss having the flintlocks and rifles, though. It is a really cool set of mods. So a mod that I'm trying to test out is basically more piles or pileful or something like that, which basically means a lot of things can just be placed into a pile. So if you want to do more ground storage, like all these logs, I can place them down. Now we have log storage without having to need a chest, you know. a little bit more convenient sometimes than doing it the other ways. Let's just spread around some torches so we can see. Mobs are turned off for the first 10 days. So no Jeffs are going to show up or anything initially. While we get established. They essentially don't know we are here in their domain. Just cut the grass for now. Stuff up. And onto my silage pile. There we go. 90 grass. Alright, let's make a shovel. Potentially. And we need a new handle for our other knife, which I might sharpen first. Resharpen this. What's the best house? One that keeps you alive. Best looking house, I mean, you know, anything kind of based in historical reference, I think is always going to look good. Whether you make like a thatch kind of mud brick or rammed earth type structure. Those look really good right now. Drink some water from the river. And we need to find some food. So we're gonna do, I guess, no binding for these initial tools. And let's look for some mushrooms or some stuff. Just got recommended to me. I'm crazy about this game seriously, so I might stick by and watch a bit. Yeah, sure. We're just testing mods. We're going to be hosting a server for our community here next month. I'm sure that's fine. Please don't let me run into a bear in the middle of the night. Grab some more flint. Alright, lucked into some berries. That's good. Hey, monkey, there you go. Fly agaric. I think that's poisonous. Yeah, you know, I don't want anything to do with that. Early game picking up sticks. It's kind of like a good thing to do. You love Vendor Story? Yeah, me too, man. Makes me really happy that the game's been getting a lot of traction lately. And also that, you know, everyone that I've seen test it out or make a video on it seems to really enjoy it. Ingredient for chopped. What do I need for sub? Not mushroom substrate. I mean, there, spore prints. Obtained by placing 4 of the same mushroom onto a prepared spore paper and waiting for the collection. Okay, so we need to like make spore paper and stuff. We just started a fresh save, so there literally is no base on this one. But I have plenty of videos on the channel. We just kind of, I mean, I died at the end, but I did a hardcore save recently, a whole hardcore, you know, 1 life challenge. Save that lasted about 20 episodes. Granted, some of the initial recordings, because I got a new computer, sucked, but it got worked out at the end. So if you want to see those, or you can go back and watch some of the old live streams from probably last year's multiplayer server. If you really want to see what we kind of get up into, we do everything from like making a golf course that functions to just really nice builds in general. Magical academies, things like that. I think Witch's Hat is safe, right? Ah! I forgot about the cows! Damn it. Well, good thing we're not playing on hardcore anymore, huh? Did not expect the aurochs to be so hostile. Flipping cows. I thought it was a bear, honestly. It was just like this big shape coming into view, you know? You just kind of never know. What mod's making the rivers? The mod is called RiverGen. It's a lightweight rivers mod. Since the other one was removed from the mod database, but it works fairly well, and even works with Terra Pretty, which is also running right now. Let's collect some of this spelt for later. We have to dry it out. All right. Yeah, I'm sure this is perfectly safe. I forgot about the hostile aurochs over here. But it's fine. It's a new day. It's a new day. We can actually see a little bit. We'll be able to outrun the cows, I think. We just need to grab our stuff. Maybe we'll explore down the river. I mean, like, I could also make some spears and just kill them, honestly, but we need to make a butchering table. Check it out, because as much as I like the default Finland lakes, I would prefer rivers. Well, so yeah, so rivers, you actually have to edit the world gen a little bit before you start the save. You have to, like, change the land size to, like, basically you need to be able to generate oceans, which you can do, but you have to generate oceans for rivers to spawn, because without oceans they won't spawn. They won't know how to. Nope. Alright, got our stuff. Let's leave cow well enough alone. That was a female. The brown one's the female. I think the black one's the bull. You know, luckily we don't need food now. Do need some water though, so we'll drink a little bit from the river. We'll have to think about getting a cooking pot or something. Is there a ruin nearby? A ruin would give us a little bit more of a secure base location to start. There's that one, but I think that one probably has hostiles spawning in it. You know what? Screw it. We'll just build up. Yeah, definitely get used to default and stuff. Rivers are you know, they don't really offer anything besides like the ability to have just a different world gen. And then we also, for the terrain itself, we use Terra Preti, which is my favorite world gen kind of adjustment mod. And there's a moose at our camp. Because why wouldn't there be? Follow me. Follow me. Yeah. Come on. Follow me. I don't know why when the moose is charging, they're slower than the player, but when they run away, they actually run at full speed. It's an odd thing. Yeah, Vintage Story is decently well optimized. I have a brand new computer, so it obviously runs it like a champ right now. Okay, we're safe. We're back at base. Let's pick up our torches so they don't extinguish. And then, good lord. So that's spelt. This flax. Let those start drying out a little bit. Okay, we got our shovel. I'm gonna make a... Oh man, what should I do for a house? Don't want to do what I normally do, but it's kind of like the most straightforward thing. Let's get some rammed earth, and we'll see if we can do like a lean-to. I don't do that often. Runs fine. I had to tweak graphic settings, but it runs smoothly. Yeah. Really, it's the view distance. View distance is the thing that'll tank your FPS the most, just due to like how much it's trying to render and stuff. But we have a mod installed right now that's called Farseer. Which will actually, like, my view distance is pretty far, so it's more noticeable at like oceans and stuff, but it'll actually, as a flat 2D image, display really distant terrain, and it's a decent way to get like a view distance without having the performance for it. The unstable earth mechanics is not functioning as well as it used to. To sharpen this shovel. All right. So let's just build out from here. 1, 2, 3. You can use panning. If you know the panning mechanics, you can actually pan for some early copper nuggets if you want. It's not a whole lot, but you can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here. I'm not going to worry about the different render texture options right now. I'm just trying to get a shelter going. Yeah, I'm fine with it flattening out there. One, two, three. Yeah, I think we'll just live in something like that. Put the fire here. What are you? So it's a gray fox. Okay. Did Nat want to be pet? Man, everything can kill me so quick. Let's pick up these logs and move them too. And I have torches, so I don't need my fire starter. Warm up. Once we have some walls, that'll be nice. And then I might try and work some mud brick in. Do we have more access to dark or light? Light requires sand in addition to everything. Light might look better with the sandstone though. There's a mod that adds sluice boxes for industrial version of panning. I believe so. Yes, there's an automatic panning mod that adds like a sluice kind of slope thing that I've never used it, but I believe a mod like that does exist. Coming for Taco ASMR, true. How's it going, man? Thank you for keeping that Metropolis level alive, dude. Unwavering for 47 months. I'm gonna go down the river for some food. Should look early while we have a food bar. And then also while there's still light. What is this, growing rye? Is this all desert here? It'll even out. It'll even out. Hello, pony. Gonna climb the land bridge to this side of the river. Oh, I'm dead. What are the chances of a hole being right there? I'm pretty high, but like still. I'm dumb. Why do I do this to myself? Yeah, just in time. Classic Uthris falling to his death. This game will get you. Look, I'm glad at least it kind of gave me a heads up, you know? Like, it was a decent fall time, right? Like, we knew what was happening as soon as I hit spacebar. That's why these little shrubs are actually pretty dangerous. Because they hide little stuff like that from view until you actually go to hop over it, you know? It's gonna be nice not to have the Wildcraft series installed for this season either. Wildcraft trees and shrubs and berries, like, it's cool. I like the expanded variety, generally speaking. But there's some stuff on it that's, you know, I think having it a little bit more simple this season in that regard will be better. If only Nat Survival Expanded was still a thing. That would be perfect. That is true. They are pretty dangerous. Usually I have to do like a whole hour of just clearing shrubbery away for visual sight lines. Luckily we're not far from spawn. Oh no. Oh no. Those are gray wolves? Or brown wolves, something like that. They were wolves. They were distracted with other things though. Okay, there's the bull. I can't believe I've already died twice. I've literally survived in this game for years on one life, but I've died twice already. I haven't tested crap. Obviously, the Art of Growing mod seems to be working though, which is nice. I'm really, honestly, it's one of the most exciting mods for this season. For me. Since Fields of Gold have kind of, you know, stopped being supported from like a farming immersiveness standpoint, I think Art of Growing is going to be the next big mod that people who want more of an immersive farming experience will go to, for sure. What is this flax? Let's just add it to our drying flax pile. Wait, that's fire clay? Oh wow, that's extremely rare then. Fire clay is the most rare type of clay right now. There's the moose. Let's not aggro the moose. You want a necropolis level? Nah, the supporting tiers and like the reward system for like being a certain tier and stuff, it's just something that I never really had time to manage or want or desire to set up. because I'm kind of a lazy bastard. But supporting, you know, it's just a different way to donate, really. All my stuff just floating in the water. Okay, got all of our bags at least. All the torches got burned out, and that sucks. Cattails and thatch. Rivers in the river, like there's some over here and thatch over here, but usually those things spawn more in like the little ponds than the rivers. But the rivers do get them. Just kind of depends. Alright, so we need to get up on that side. But this is a sheer cliff wall. Cattail farming early? Yeah, that's just a chat bot thing. You can't propagate cattails. Like, I could grab these cattails and move them closer to the base, yes. Which would mean I don't have to run as far for them. But to propagate cattails, in the vanilla game, there isn't really a way to do that. With Wild Farming Revival, there is, which is installed, but we require a bucket to do that. Same thing with Tool, which is straw. Let me, I want to test something. Clay works through an error at the start. So, I just want to make sure that everything here looks normal. Everything here does look normal. And then I can store clay on the ground, so... Okay, so that's working. Let's gather some of this. Does exclamation mark Botrix do anything? I don't think it does. Botrix is just a very lightweight chat mod that I have. Moderator. I honestly haven't opened its settings in years. There you go. Stack of clay. That's a decent grab. If it works, it works. True. Like, I'm pretty sure it'll, like, time people out automatically if they spam symbols and other things. Otherwise, I don't think I have the slot minigame enabled. I don't think so. Do I have that? I have a feeling the answer is no. Nope. Didn't think so. Alright, so I want to get up around here. I'm trying to find food. That's what I went this way for. It's fun the first time and then never again. Yeah, it's not gonna. It's an okay like chat engagement function, you know. Especially if you don't have like a lot of people talking between themselves in like smaller chats, you know. Because YouTube, you know, you gotta drive engagement for YouTube to like suggest your channel to other people, and so without it, you know, just no one knows you exist. Which makes sense from like a business decision, but like, man, I miss old YouTube. I miss 2016 YouTube. That was best YouTube. After 2016, YouTube kind of sucks. Is that more fire clay or is that blue clay? Okay. So I guess with the rivers mod, follow rivers to find some clay. It'll work out. I'm here, so it's working. Just pushing content to new people. Not how it used to, but yeah. I appreciate any new person, especially if they're chill and stuff like that, obviously. But I don't do content like I used to. Uthris is kind of retired. Alright, so we have a lot of berries here. And they don't last for very long. So I'm going to fill up my hunger bar here. And then I'm going to turn them all into berry seeds and plant them. So 5 more berry seeds to bring home. I'm not gonna bring home the bushes because having the food, I think, findable while you're like running around is actually kind of nice. So if you bring every berry bush in like a 30-mile radius back to your base, yeah, you have a lot of berries at your base, but you don't have your emergency food. You know, out in the wilderness. So I tend to think it's a little short-sighted to bring back every berry bush. Dry out and then thrash. Alright, we will head back. Keep that for food. And then continue work on the base. Now I need to gather a lot more grass to dry out for the roofing. Or I can gather some more of the straw instead. Straw would be more immediate. Our base is this one. Ah, thrashing. Yes. ASMR galore. I'm gonna grab some more clay so we can test clay making more. It's an important step. Stone Age to Clay Age in the game. And I could honestly just make shingles. While we're running around. Maybe we'll do a shingle roof. This is a mod, by the way. Don't freak out that I'm doing something that you guys probably don't know exists. This is called manual shingle crafting. Just an immersive way to do it that kind of saves your finger and wrist. The damage from the clay napping function, and I'm going the wrong way. Wrong river. So basically, to do this, all I gotta do is hold right click with clay on my hand. And you get shingles just popping out. I think it's less efficient than if I were to do the clay forming method, but like I said, I can do this while running around. I would like to find some peat. I think peat's gonna be up there. There we go. You made 600 shingles. Yeah, there's a pottery wheel mod if you want to do that route for a little bit more of a ease of clay forming. There's mold making, so like plaster molds that you can make, and then you can make like liquid clay and pour them into molds to do some more late game clay making and stuff. Look, I think everyone should play vanilla. Basically, for a while first, right? Like, don't immediately rely on mods. For things. And I'm glad people don't know sometimes that there's mods for stuff. Okay, let's get an actual rope and bind this together properly. There you go. Yeah, and vanilla's really good. Like, I could do a vanilla save. I've done a vanilla save recently. Vanilla is perfectly fine. Probably the only mod that is, in my opinion, kind of a requirement base game now is chisel tools. Would probably be like the one mod that I have to have. Chisel tools and maybe stone cord. That's it. Otherwise, you know. Yeah, I've only ever gotten to iron. I've never actually bothered going farther. I've used steel tools that other people have made, but I've never actually done the whole blast furnace functionality, and I've never made a beehive kiln yet. Oh, wow, look at all this spelt. Hold on. Let's bring this home so I can start drying it out. I actually think it's, like, as I used it last season, it's definitely, I think, worth it from a durability standpoint. Jesus. But I think it should be a side project. It's a side project, in my opinion, at in-game. It's a, yeah, start working on it, but don't overly focus on it because you just don't need to. Once you have it, though, I mean, steel's great. know why I'm gathering this, because I'll be using... Finding a silver knife really is kind of wild. Once we get better handles, that'll be nice. Which, once you can get firewood, you can make better handles in this mod. Or at least the basic handle, instead of sticks. For roofing or emergency fuel, which yeah, it would be for roofing, the straw. And emergency fuel, I mean, it's easier to craft an axe and cut down a tree if you need fuel. Originally, I was going to put thatch over our little temporary lean-to. That's why my brain drifted to it, to gather it, because I needed some. But since I crafted a lot of shingles, we might go that route instead. In which case, I need more dry grass. As well. For the pit kiln. Make the pit kiln, I guess, here for now. Chop this down. Some more dry grass storage eventually. And then again, get clear this out. You can do what, 48 shingles at once in one clay fire, I think? I think it's 48. Knife. All right. Let's warm up a bit. No. Spell, flax. Peat we brought back. Need to get some of our stuff moved over. He's trying to. Nope. lit right up. That's what you want to see. So this is flax. This is spelt. Alright, we have enough dry. 4. Enough of those. How much, roofing is it? So every 3 is 2? Obviously, if we had the Roofing Master's Blueprint, we would get 4x the amount, but we don't. Alright, let's get these started. And I want a tool rack. Right there. To hang that. Ooh. Can I not use P? Oh, I need sticks first. Ugh. I was about to say, it's like, I'm pretty sure that would be a bug. Here's to hoping we don't start a massive forest fire. There we go. Because we have never done that before on the channel. Alright, so we got dry grass. This is straw. So dry grass over here. We need to make a little shed for silage. Cattails. Pour that on the ground too. Cranberry seeds. Plant them out here. They can start growing. Don't need clay. Let's get some more dirt for the walls. Do that. That's fine. The interim, we'll just stick some of this down. Find a way to get an early game free lanterns. Free lanterns? If I had to guess from ruins, but that's just kind of a guess. I think we'll probably do no window on this side, window on this side, maybe a window here and here. For now. Just to let some light in, I guess. Can I store rammed earth on the ground? Ooh, I can. And dirt. And clay. Okay, not bad. We don't have to worry about storage vessels for some of these things because we can just put them on the ground, which actually I really like. Those are going. Can I make a bed to sleep through the night, though? Oh, do I actually have to make hay bales the proper way? Handle one. Yeah. We need rope. Can I just cut this back down? I can. There we go. Look at the rope back though. That's kind of rough, but okay. Okay, that there. This guy can sit here. Sleep. 8 days till monsters. It's a little chilly. Using a net set wagons afire, but I thought of using a rain barrier for my pick count, and the wagon caught fire. Lanterns don't burn. Ah. So I'm assuming it just dropped to the ground. And you're able to just kind of pick it up. That's an interesting method. I mean, you know, kind of rude to the traders, in my opinion. Definitely on the rude side. Alright, so those are still going. We need to go, again, find more food. Let's bring our shovel. You might need it. Don't need the axe right now. They had insurance. I don't think they do. Literally post-apocalyptic world, and you're like, insurance will cover it. Insurance dissolved with the rest of society, I'm pretty sure, in this world. I would assume so. Let's go south a little bit. Let's see if there's more food this way. Either we're gonna run into food or we're gonna run into bears. I could see like burning down a couple traders, but in a multiplayer save environment, I would assume, honestly, if someone does that on purpose, I think that's griefing a little bit. And then, in addition, I feel like kind of against the spirit of the game, but also, like, there's some traders that I would like to keep around, you know? It would be cool if we could recruit the traders, you know, kind of like in like a Terraria type methodology. You build a room and then you kind of get them to like you and then they join. And then you assign a space to them back at your base. I think that would be cool. Cool way to do it. Freaking raccoons, man, taking all my berries. Great. Let's make some spears. So what is this? Hammerhead? One roof. Okay, so it's a one roof mod thing. Then we'll make some skinning racks. Or hooks. Here in a second. Now, modded animals drop a lot of meat. But the butchery mod, I think, is compatible with a lot of these now, and so hopefully it kind of nerfs it so you have to use the butchery table to get the full amount. Not sure. Something we'll have to test. Pit kilns are very dangerous. This is true. Last save we had, the neighbor near where I was building, their house caught on fire due to a pit kiln, and so I had to run over and start like lifting their like crates and stuff and get them out of a burning building in real time. That was pretty wild. All right, so for that we need resin. So 2 resin for 2 hooks, and then for the primitive butchery table, no resin. Okay, so that's fine. What about stone? Can it be any stone? I have a feeling it's going to be any stone. But yeah, pit kiln's very, very dangerous. I've also, you know, started a bushfire to like kind of clear out a lot of like these low-lying shrubs before, and then it, of course, jumped straight into a peat mine that was right near my base, and then that burned down. A lot of little things like that can happen in this game, and it's pretty funny when it does. Like, how crazy would it be if I turned on the lightning causes fire function? I think everyone would lose their mind if I did that in a multiplayer. Hey, Frederick, how's it going? I think it would be funny. A rush for lightning rods? Well, yeah, but what happens if lightning just strikes your nearby forest and then it jumps over? You heard what happened to Hightail? Yeah, it makes me pretty sad. I was excited for Hightail. But it'll be interesting to see if any of them decide to join the Vintage Story team to either do kind of like a side game mode or, you know, general development. Kind of depends on who they get and what they do. I know Tyron, I think, not Tyron. You know, he used to work for the Hightail team initially. I think he did some terrain gen for them back in the day. Yeah. But no, I'm sad because like Hytale to me, I was excited for like the more interesting combat, a little bit more RPG-esque world and stuff. But I think, you know, feature creep and other things, it became unfeasible. Everwind? Man, that sounds way too close to EverQuest. What's Everwind? Has that Hytale look-ish? I don't like the character models as much as Hytale's. But honestly, there's just so many crafting survival games. I'm sticking with Vintage Story, I think. Vintage Story, Valheim, and then like Medieval Dynasty. Those three for me kind of hit everything that I want out of my crafting survival games currently. And V Rising, if I guess I want a more boss-focused one. Like I don't think I want or need another crafting survival game with those. I guess you could count Project Zomboid in there nowadays, but that's more of a zombie apocalypse survival game, which is its own thing. I definitely find Vintage Story to kind of just simply be the best right now, though, on the market. For what I want out of my block survival game. For sure. Star Maid is one of the old ones that I wish got a lot more love and support back in the day. I really like Star Maid. But then Space Engineers kind of, I think, took a lot of that community. And also Star Maid was like too slow to develop into anything. That's a pretty horse. Wait, is that a unicorn? No. What more features do I want in base Vintage Story? I want an actual fishing mechanic. I would like to see... I'm glad the sailing mechanic is getting a little bit of an update next patch. I think it'll be a little bit more in line with what I wanted sailing to start out as. Otherwise, more nature-based mobs and things, like more wilderness kind of mobs. The drifters and stuff are cool and everything, but I think keeping them underground is more interesting for them, and then more surface stuff. Like I'm excited for like the crocodile. I think they showed off a hippo, and the new boar model. Those look really good. Otherwise, water wheels would be cool. More mechanical power. I think some sort of tech tree requirement would be nice. So right now, you know, if you're good at Vintage Story, and like I've been playing it for a long time, you can get to Iron very quickly. Like for example, the Bronze Age, if you do it right, is literally like an hour, if that. Canoe, there's a mod for canoes, but yeah, that would be cool in a base game. More boat options would be cool too. But for some of those things, I'm fine with relying for mods. More in-depth farming. I'd be curious on what they're going to do when they want to replace the 3x3 crafting grid, because they say they eventually want to get rid of this as much as possible. Just more of everything. But I do wish there was a little bit more of a hard progression limitation. There was a mod for an update ago that I really liked. It was called Nat Survival Expanded, and basically, for every you could configure it, but if you stayed alive long enough, you'll just naturally gain experience, and then you would spend that experience to unlock technology, from like unlocking the Pottery Age, unlocking the Copper Age, and I think forcing it to slow down I think it's a good thing. The hydration bar, I'd be fine with it in the base game. Yeah, that wouldn't bother me. I used to play like Craft back in the day. So, you know, water requirements in Craft was nice. I like the butchery mod and how it kind of makes animal skinning a little bit more in depth. More in depth stuff would be nice. I really like the manual mods, so like the manual firewood and manual sawing. If they could add a automated sawmill, that would be cool. I need 4 of those and a decent amount of sticks. Do I have a stick pile in here? I don't think I do. My stick pile's over here. But there's a whole slew of stuff that they could add to the game, honestly. There is a lot. I'm even working on my own mod with a friend as well. I thought that was just virtually. And I think it'll be a mod that everyone will be like, oh yeah. It'll be a fun little one. Some things that I think they could also work on too is like stuff to do in the snow. Like dog sledding would be cool. Skis, snowshoes, stuff like that would be cool. To make like snow travel more interesting potentially. Like if I have snowshoes on, I don't sink into a snow block and I can kind of run on top of it at normal speed. That'd be kind of nice. Skis would let you like... You'd probably take reduced fall damage if you land in snow, but also you could probably actually ski down a slope. That'd be cool. Wagons would be really cool. We have the Cartwright mod in testing right now. But being able to hook this up to like your elk eventually would be nice. So yeah, I think the game will definitely think about that. Where's my axe? Oh, the butchering table consumed it. That sucks. Good thing I didn't use my silver knife for the butchering table. That was smart. I really like the toolsmith mod. Something like that added to the base game would be nice. I can't nap with sandstone, right? It's too soft. Back this way might be granite. I need a new whetstone. Need a new whetstone. Gotta watch out for this boar. I think cave-in should be more punishing too. I think if a cave-in happens, it should happen into a wider area, which they just recently kind of did that, I believe. But an even wider area would be nice. I think cave-ins are a little still easy to navigate around without you needing too many supports. Maybe having cave-ins, you'll need more support for depending on the ceiling size that you're supporting. I mean that's already true, but I'm saying like thicker supports in like some areas and thinner supports in others, or maybe an upgraded support that can hold up more air. Yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling at this point. But hey, on this save, we're just running 90 mods, and we're good. Alright, let's see. More supports on weaker rock. What I would say is, depending on the length of span, like right now, if you put down a support, that spot is permanently kind of locked in, right? But if I make the roof weaker than it already is, I should need more supports eventually, right? Not more in terms of just like the number of supports, but the support itself needs to hold up more weight. If I keep digging an area out. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, you can get ice blocks. You can totally make a an igloo. Okay. In fact, ice, if you chisel it, won't melt. So you can do whatever you want with it. I've used ice in the game to for windows, like if I don't want like a perfectly clear glass window and I want a more frosty window, use ice. Hey Dad, man. How's it going? Can I store ivy on the ground? This pile mod is very interesting. No. I can just store it on the wall. Oh, our shingles are done. Let's start with something like this and see how it goes. Oh yeah. Yeah, some this game can be very, very pretty. Foundation mixed with a tiny glade. It's a voxel style of teardown. It's a foundation mixed with tiny glade with a voxel. Huh. Called Town to City. Dadman always comes in with awesome ideas. Town to City. Let's see. Oh, I've seen this. I'm fairly certain. Is that out now? Oh no, there's a demo of it. I will look into it. I will seriously look into it. Maybe I'll stream it tomorrow as a test. Yeah, let me, actually I'm gonna write that down. Town to city. Town to city. City builders are fun. Another game that I'm like super excited for is Karn. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's had a demo out for a while. But it's like a rock climbing game. I'm actually really excited for that. The demo was very fun. And the mechanics seem fairly solid, and we're starving. Normal. I don't have any food stockpiles. None. None whatsoever. I need to potentially hunt stuff. Did you try the demo, Dadman? Like, what'd you think of it? It does look like Tiny Glade, where like you slide things around and it dynamically kind of puts down something that kind of makes sense there, but I don't know. I didn't watch too much of it. Oh, wow, okay. I'm used, okay, I'm off. I'm used to, I'm used to Medieval Dynasty. Man, this guy can throw spears. Hold on, stop running. Stop! Why are you running? I'll dial it in, don't worry. I'm gonna start starving. It's... These fucking bushes make it so annoying to hunt. I gotta flush it out so I can actually see the thing. Where'd he go? Did he go down or up? Dick. Dick. Okay, this goat is a bloody ninja, guys. Oh my god. Okay, hit him again. Did you two of those spears? Don't tell me he's gonna fall to his death now. Where'd he go? I have no idea where he went. Damn it. Can I pick him up? Throw him there. He turned into a standard goat, I guess. Alright. We're gonna have to survive on health potions. bit. How long until this thing bleeds out? It's gonna be a little while. Let's go gather some stuff. Mature wild turnips. These suck so much for food because they're not cultivated yet. Yeah, 20 food. 10 out of 10. Basically nothing. I did come over here to look for mushrooms before. I didn't see any, and then we died to that cow. So, let's see if it happens again, I guess. Check the other side of the river. I haven't really gone over here. Death cap, really? Really? Game borax. Holy cow. Where? Mushroom. Bearded tooth. That's a mushroom. That we can eat. Yeah. Any others? Nope. This area doesn't get much rainfall, so I doubt there's going to be a lot of mushrooms. Well, no, over here is, yeah, it's uncommon. Yep. Nope. Oh, lobster. This is decent mushroom. Got my character. Can't harvest forage very well. Okay, 4 lobster turned into 1. Nice. Orange oak fillet. I think that's safe to eat. Oh, looks like it. Always look if you don't know. What do I need for substrate? I need bucket. Well, I just heard a wolf, so I'm leaving. Goodbye. Chanterelle. I think this is fine. Yeah, chicken of the woods is awesome. Tenderhoof, I think, is good. Shiitake. All that stuff. Right now I have the animal swim speed set to 200%. That's just a world config setting now. I would say if I were to right now get chased by a bear and hop into like a river and start swimming away, it would just keep up with me. It might slowly gain on you. But with a river, I can kind of get underneath the mob because the hit scan's only forward. So like there's some tricks you can do with the river in addition to can't do awful. don't have the bucket to do the prepared healthy, but we do have the fire pit, so we can at least cook it. Alright, so at least we got red meat. 400, but minus 100 water. We're gonna have to dig a well for some fresh water, I think. Let's just stick it over here. We'll see how well it does. It might not be an aquifer at all, but I'd rather have it than not. Cool mod that I have installed that we'll eventually have to test is chisel blocks provide insulation always, no matter the thickness of it or face. I think that's a pretty handy one to have. Oh my god, I might have had just enough shingles to do this. I count that as a victory. There we go. Eat some food. And then I think I'll just make some waddle. That's not a knife. Couple waddle gates for the door. because that doesn't break like the crew door. And then for the window, what do I need for this? I forget. It's been a little bit. What's that? Yeah. That way Botorns can't shoot me. Alright. That'll let some natural light in. We can sleep. So the butchery table appears to be working, which is good. I need to get a vessel. For storage. I can use this for now. Do something like that. Is there a bone? Can I nap? Okay, good. The bone pickaxe is not natively turned on. That's good. I'm gonna move this to up here, I think. No. By the door. Just by the door. Need to go hunting again already. How we doing on this? Oh, we got dry spelt and dry flax. So once you have dry flax, you have to soak it. Oh no, you have to thresh it first. Thresh. Fresh. And that gives us flax grain, which is the seed, and also a grain type. If you wanted to, you could turn it into grain cereal. Yeah, that's the Dana Tweaks mod. When I do the server, that will be disabled. But yes, right now they are doing that. Linen straw. So I need to soak these for the fibers to loosen. And then let's get 2 storage vessels, I think, formed. By the way, whenever you're doing clay forming, my recommendation is always just like open up your inventory or hold Alt so you get the cursor so your camera doesn't move. It just makes this process a lot easier. Same thing with blacksmithing. It's kind of why I have all my stuff to the side here instead of in the middle, so that I can just open my inventory while I'm doing this stuff. Just trying to click accurately while the camera's moving is harder. needed more red clay for a second vessel. But we'll fire one for now. That way we can at least store food in it underground. Which will be a nice little boon for us. Let's need more sticks. How's my straw? Okay, this grass dried. Because something with art of growing, your seeds actually spoil, so you need to keep them underground too. How's our XPs? Survival's doing okay, combat's not changed. Temporal adaptions, meh. Collecting, farming, we are getting farming XP, that's good. Digging XP is good. Mining, we haven't been doing. Processing, we're getting cooking XP and pottery XP, so that stuff's working. Convenient, but also not at the same time. Alright, well that's running. Let's see. This is all sandstone. I need to get up. I need to get up there or up here. Yeah, no. Hey General, how's it going, dude? Did you change your username display to General_Destruction? Didn't it used to just be one word? Am I crazy? Am I misremembering? Last night YouTube was displaying username instead of the display names. Huh. That's weird. Gotta love YouTube. It is cold up here. Actually, do you have a moment to hop in Discord? I'm just kind of curious on like timetable wise for the server, test server, I guess.
Hello.
Hey man, how's it going?
Not too bad.
So I'm assuming you still just stand up the VM, right?
The VM is up. I got that done this week, so.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
So it's there. It just needs to. I just need to go get the Vintage Story software and then install and then start loading stuff.
Silver. Okay. Yeah. No. Just a couple reminders about what we kind of went through last time. I'm pretty sure the server, we were having issues with the world config.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you ended up having to start a single player save and then copy that save over with so that the world gen could be configured right. Am I misremembering that?
It was something like that. I can't remember if it was a world that you had genned or I genned or something, but I think we had to copy one over. And then because of some of the mods that were in there, I think is what it was.
Well, it was so that we could Because otherwise it was like doing default values, and
Yeah.
default there's no ocean, so therefore no river.
Exactly. Yep.
So I think that was the big thing. Everything else we could just do via chat command, but when you change world gen settings after the
Yep.
fact, you get like a weird like line that says, "Hey, this welcome to the new area with the new settings."
Exactly.
So I wanted to remind you of that, and then I have a couple more like 1 or 2 mods that wasn't in the list that I sent you for the server. I sent you one of them, but I think there's 2 more
Yep.
that I've been testing out. And so far, at least single player wise, my game's running fine. I got a couple little errors on startup involving when you make a mod in this game, because now that I'm kind of doing some modding, I kind of understand what some of the errors mean. In your mod, you can configure things to be a patch to a vanilla item instead of like a whole override and new item separately. And so the error that I'm kind of getting is bricklayers. Is it bricklayers or clayworks? I think clayworks. It'll just throw a small error saying that it can't patch the default clay texture because it can't find it. Which is fine, because the default clay texture still works just fine. So it doesn't need to patch it. So far right now, clay is just functional. So if you see that, you can ignore it. Now, of course, if it's jamming up the logs, we'll have to look into, do we want clayworks, and, if it's going to, like, slip bog the server down with logs. But, right now,
I doubt that'll be an issue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not. I'm not an issue in terms of probably file size, but the issue is like if the server is spending every tick writing to an error to a log. It's just like it's just bogging itself down for no reason.
It depends on if it's the server, the software server, if it's the VM server, because sometimes we've seen where it affects one but not the other, or the opposite one and not the other. So.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
But I built this VM because I wasn't sure what... I was trying to get 7 days up and going. I ended up just using GTX again because it was easier, because evidently the Fun Pimps have some sort of, like, their dedicated server, like, here's how you do this. Like, their batch files and things to kick everything off with the right arguments is incorrect and has been for the last year.
Oh, fine.
So, like... The hosting providers have figured out what to do and recoded everything, but there's no updated documentation anywhere. So it's like, after spending a week, spinning my wheels, I'm like, well, screw this.
And this is, I'm sure, only for like a dedicated server, because if you're doing it just through Steam as like a host, then you don't need to worry about it.
Well, no, actually, it was the Steam CMD stuff.
No. I'm saying like I started the game up into multiplayer, someone could just join on me and it'll be fine.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, and even though you use Steam CMD and everything for the dedicated server, you still have to have some sort of command file that launches everything with all the right arguments and stuff. And evidently, they changed how that was done with version 1.
Super technical talk
didn't tell
going
anybody
on
except for the hosting
stream.
providers. And I'm like, thanks, guys. So, I'm just surprised it's still an issue after a year, because we just hit 2.0 yesterday officially. So.
I mean, it depends on the mod team or this. Like if less people run dedicated servers, then it's just a lower to do on their list. Yeah.
And then that team it's a small little, I hate to say indie team, but it's a small little dev team here in the States. Yeah. That, and they're also launching their second game right now too. So.
Yeah, I mean, they could just be pulling support too. I mean, in some way. And I mean, personally, I've never liked the looks of 7 Days to Die. Like, it just Project Zomboid has just been my go-to.
They've come from back in the day, after 1 point, because I never played it until 1.0. They did a complete rewrite on the game already, and so when I watched you playing with Dirty on Scum the other day, I'm like, it literally functions just like Scum does. It looks kind of like Scum. You get a few, you got your building blocks like you do here in Vintage Story and stuff, but other than that, everything looks like you're playing Scum or, some sort of FPS shooter now.
Well, I mean, like that doesn't bother me per se. It's really like the animate. Like, for example, I was watching, and this is just me complaining about the game at this point, which if no one wants to hear, I won't go into. But like just visually, the zombies animation is crap. You know, they're not really scary. They seemed pretty jank looking, I guess you could say. And if that's like your main mob that you're fighting all the time, like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a set like 12 character zombies, and then there's the feral. Then there's all the variations of them.
But you know, I watched for like a couple of minutes, so
yeah.
I'm not gonna get the full picture from that.
Those are the vanilla. Those are the basic tier area. They added 2 more types now in this patch, and they hit like trucks. So they're
well,
late
I'm not
game
saying
those
they aren't dangerous per se. It's just I guess I just never liked the world building aspect. Like the world itself to me in 7 Days to Die just didn't sell it to me. You know, like it's just. I don't know how to describe how I feel here. It's like, I guess because I come from the Project Zomboid side, that like, it doesn't feel like a zombie apocalypse. It feels like it's like a crafting survival game. And I don't know. Yeah. Never mind. I give up. I can't explain.
It's hard to. Yeah, Simon can't explain it either because he's, you know, even though he's played it, he's more into Zomboid, and I played both. I just like the first person perspective in the combat that way. But I do play Zomboid, you know, because I played a lot with Simon this past year. So because Simon and Bender set up servers for streaming. That Red did, you know, last fall, I think it was. So,
yeah, I'm excited for the next build of Zomboid and multiplayer for it once it finally comes out. I think it'll be really good, especially now that zombies are ragdolls. I think that's hilarious. What else is going on? I don't know. Are you guys excited for the Vintage Story server again, or? Is it too soon to be excited?
I know Nisi and Sane or you know they're already like, hey, this will be neat, and they've seen that you've been doing stuff and stuff. You know, from my aspect, I'm just kind of running all over the place for everybody between you know here and work.
Yeah.
Customers like, we got to close these data centers. Well, we got the California one. It's in final shutdown mode, and the other one we're working on is. You know, we got another 2 months of migrations, and then I can breathe easy again. So, but it's just been lots and lots of hours.
Our work, we just ran into like I think some sort of vendor who sells us some Cognos licensing through IBM. They were like, oh yeah, you don't have to renew your licensing until the end of July, and then like someone. Like, they got the email finally saying, like, when the licensing expires. It's like, nope, it's July 1st. And they, like, found that out a week ago. And so now everyone's scrambling. Just like, oh, no. Because there's not, like, a purchase rec open for it at all. And nothing is approved. And we didn't even have the dollar amount until the other week on how much the licensing would be. And then we think they're overcharging us. Like, there's all that fun.
Oh, yeah, I can tell you. You know, being an ex-IBMer and what the MO is lately is they are hurting for business, and so they are cranking up support charges, licensing costs, anything they can do to milk the money right now, because they are hemorrhaging customers, and they are laying off staff left and right, and the only thing they can do is increase the income.
Well, yeah, but if they do that, then they'll just hemorrhage faster. So, like, you know, it's
but the bean counters don't seem to understand that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't work there anymore, so it's not a big deal for you.
I mean, I still
As
have
their
a lot of their
business-
equipment. But,
Well, I mean, you know, as I have a feeling as their business shrinks, your guys' business will grow, right?
I mean, we do the managed service provider stuff they didn't want to do, so they're just selling software and hardware. And
Oh, okay.
like like lately, what they've been doing is they've been like doing like 90% off, like $1 million storage arrays and servers and stuff, and then they're just hitting you with like your maintenance is like 150% versus the 100% it was before. So it's the whole we're gonna have a fire sale on the systems and software, and then we're gonna catch you on the back end.
Well, I mean, like
Like, they don't.
that's actually kind of smart because like once the servers are up and the physical stuff's online, I mean the money is in the maintenance of it, right? So like if you can get a whole bunch of people to fund, the partial construction of everything, and let's say it costs you some money, sure, but or you even just break even on that portion of the sale, but then you just make money on the maintenance. That's feasible. I don't think it's the best, but it's feasible.
Yep.
What
Yeah,
is
that's
Is
one
that
of the
a
fun
bear?
things.
Yes, it is. Fuck my life.
It's Raptor.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't wait for Red to rage about cave-ins. It's gonna be a good time.
One thing in the 7 days mod that we've got for naming things, evidently, the mod sees animals as zombies as well, with how it with like entities and stuff. So, I randomly like, Dirty was a deer last night for me at one point. I'm like, oh, well, sorry, Dirty, but we need the meat.
It's Dirty Deer. And you say my zombie was just straight up killing Red over and over?
Like, of course we're like we're in first night of streaming and stuff, so we're very squishy. But he was slapping you, or you were slapping him around pretty good. I mean, in the end, you died again, but
Yeah. I'll be back.
But exactly. I just figured, since we didn't open up the server to the community like we did last time, because we had a little too much people running off doing things, and then you venture to the other areas, those zombies can now spawn in all of your other areas, and
Yeah.
that's not a good thing when you're trying to, systematically do things. So,
Well, it rushes progression for everyone, and if you're not fast enough, you can't keep up, and then now you're behind and stressed, and
the game doesn't become as fun anymore. Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
I'm sad there's not going to be like the progression and the Vintage Story server this time, because I know Athenia is going to be in the Steel Age by day 2.
Pretty much. But yeah, so we decided to make just bring Chad in as zombies. So I had Red pull his members list, and then we grabbed all of the YouTubers and Twitch streamers, all the people that Raptor pulls in and streams with Red, and
Yeah.
so that way everyone got to oh hey, this is so they got to have some comedy with it last night. So
That's good.
like that's good. I'm like, it makes up for not having everybody in the game. So there was some very interesting, because people were in chat and like, hey, this zombie just killed Nisi. And they're like, dang it, why'd you do that? She's their favorite mod. So it was quite fun.
Did you have any general kill general moments?
No, but evidently I really beat Red up a few times. And Rob, Calamity Bob, who's the only non-misfit member that's on the server, he kept finding himself, and he died to himself a few times. It just depends on what zombie it was and what tier it was. Debated who won that fight. So I was like, Calamity Bob killed Calamity Bob. And I'm like, wait, what? Okay.
Oh, yay, successful hunt. I don't know why it changes. It just changes to a standard goat. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's how butchery mod is doing that.
Just pick it up, put it under your arm.
Well, yeah, no, it's under my arm, and everyone gets to look at its butt as I'm running here, for sure. But I like some of the new character customizations I'm testing. Like, you'll be able to change your ear type if you want, like, kind of more of a fantasy ear kind of look. Yeah. Some antlers if you want some of those. You know, if you want to be more like elfish in that regard. Obviously, Warhammer Rustbound Magic. So far, Toolsmith is working and no errors or anything like that. Now, it's not Toolworks. It's a little bit different, but functionally it's the same, right? You are taking a tool head, a binder, and a handle and combining it together. But it's working, at least in single player, with like manual wood log and sawing.
Okay.
So once the server's up, we'll have to kind of test that just to make sure, you know, if it breaks, no one's crashing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't expect it to. And even if it does, screw it. I don't care. Deal with this.
That was the only problem is, you know, if you couldn't go back to get your stuff or whatever if it, you know, crashed you out. But
well, that was if you like put a partial tool on the ground, I thought, or no, it was glue. Wasn't it glue? Pitch glue was causing an issue.
Well, it wasn't just the glue, because we didn't really use the glue on our side, but like if we broke like an axe or something, and I think it was the twine that was getting us. I think Forn and them, they were using the glue method, and that was their problem, thinking it was going to move them past the twine issue. But like poor Sane he'd have a saw, and he'd be making planks, and it would just break, and then Sane has left the game.
Yeah.
Okay, here he is again. At least that one he just kicked him out of the game and he came back in. Whereas I think the glue was if it broke.
Glue was I'm going to corrupt the whole area. No one's allowed here until it despawns.
Exactly. So you had two variations of the same similar problem. You know, one was the easy issue and one was the harder issue of the whole.
Like I know Boomkin's whole island became corrupt. So he couldn't do anything over there. But luckily he was by himself, so it didn't really, you know, wasn't a huge issue. And then I think it was the Forens group that when they ran into it, that's when we had to take it off.
Yep.
But yeah, no butcheries there. You know, I don't know if you look through the mod list at all.
I haven't. This was supposed to be an easy week for me, and then it just kind of turned into escalations and stuff. And holidays next week, so that'll be a lot nicer. So.
Well, we patched at the start of this month the software that I support, and you know we tested this patch for a month and a half. Like the business went in and did their testing, and they actually tested stuff. You know, obviously you can't test every use case scenario, and then sometimes when you test something, you assume the other part works with it because, like, you know, that's just how it goes, right? With testing, like if I export and import a timesheet, well. A correcting timesheet is literally the same process, so why would it fail, right? So like essentially the so we installed the patch, and then now, you know, we're running into some sort of validation error on time cards that did not used to be there. And then I talked to the vendor, and they're like, "Oh no, this is working as intended." I'm like, "Okay, where's the documentation on this?" And they don't have it, and they can't send it to me. And I'm just like, then it's a defect because it's not documented in here. So figure it out. And I've been on like 3 or 4 calls, and I'm getting the runaround, and I'm just so annoyed. Because honestly, like the defect is so asinine to me that like, ow, a fox just bit my ankle. Basically, I'm just like, if this is your intended update, this is the most half-baked update I've ever seen them release. I was blanking. So it's just, yeah, that was my week, and it's still going to continue next week. Same kind of stuff. And I don't want to have to write a whole SQL statement to like dynamically do what the system used to do, and like I shouldn't have to do that crap.
Yep.
Also, my
Oh, you
DBA
want
gets
the-
upset when I do that stuff.
Well, yeah. Unless it's written efficiently and really good and stuff, but they're like, oh, won't you let us do that? And
Well, usually my SQL stuff, honestly, uh, the Deltek product is very just basic table and joins. Like, there's no, like, if I do anything complicated, I basically do a select into a temp table and then do joins off of that and then dump the temp table when it's done. So, like, I don't do anything crazy. I don't even have to run it as, like, a no-lock transaction because it runs in, like, 2 seconds. So it's not even, like, a long-running SQL statement.
oh wait, you don't do unions or joins against the table against itself that are, and each one's like 8 to 10 terabytes in size minimum, and then complain about performance.
No, though I'm pretty sure our BI team gets that complaint. Not me.
Yeah, that's what that's what my customer does, and of course, then their database people are like, the database is running slow. You need to look at the server and storage. And I get called in as the architect. I'm like, you have like 12 terabytes of memory in here. What are you doing? And they're like, oh, we're doing this.
So, like, we take a nightly refresh of our whole database for our ERP system, right? And that whole thing, the refresh takes 4-5 hours to run. But essentially, our whole database for it is only a terabyte and a half.
I wish.
And a third or a fourth of that is what's called reporting tables, which is like your project status reports and revenue worksheets and all that fun stuff. That the business, these are reporting tables, so they're technically summarizations of other tables, and the business doesn't even want to dump these, and they're like a third of the database, and every year it grows because they don't want to get rid of these old reports from 3 years ago, because they're like, well, the data could change between then and now. I'm like, it really shouldn't. Are you writing stuff to the books for 2 years ago? You shouldn't be doing that, like yeah, there's a lot of weird. But then they complain to us, right? They're like, well, our reports run slow. It's like, well, you should probably get rid of your old reports. It'll run faster. But we're definitely not talking terabytes and terabytes like you were.
Yeah, my largest database I have to deal with their pre-prod and prod instances that share some things, but most of it's separate. But the whole pre-prod and prod database for one system is almost 800 terabytes now.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's what you get when you have, all the Medicare and Medicaid data for, 1 in 3 people in this country in there, and it's a lot of stuff to keep track of.
Yeah. And that doesn't even sound like there's, like, that many separate tables. It's just one big table.
No, it's got tons of tables. It's just...
Okay.
Yeah, and then their tables are broken out into multiple data files and stuff for performance, and when you have like almost 30 LUNs on your server just for data files, and also to split them out so you don't have issues with like, hey, we're loading data from like the nightly loads and stuff, right? Pulling data from this one, feeding the reporting instance. Don't have the same data, don't put data files that are going to conflict with each other on the same LUN, because, people, I had to help re-architect that application, like, back in 2016, because they were sharing the same temp DB, and they were doing the exports and the imports on the same LUN, and it's like, well, no wonder, because you're having to query both sets of tables.
Well, yeah, also, like while you're doing the export, I assume it locks the tables. Because you don't want the data to change, and then it can't import while the table's locked, and so now you're just waiting for one job to finish, and
exactly.
Yeah.
It turned into a bloody nightmare, so they now have like 8 different temp DBs and temp tables set up, so where they can do different imports and exports to different lines of business and stuff, and because they were, and then at one point they split them all up and they had them all in one LUN, and they're like, this LUN's performing bad, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are you doing? Oh, we're doing all this stuff, and I'm like, that's still a problem, you're running competing, even though that you've got them split between tables now. You're running I/O against the same disk, and the disk is already busy reading, and you're trying to write to it. You need to split this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that one's been a bane of my existence. It's going away in 9 months. Finally, it's going to go into read-only mode and be sunset. But yeah, so whenever I hear you talking about SQL, like that is my nightmare scenario because I've had to fix that frickin' thing numerous times over the years, and they're like, well, "How do you know this stuff?" I'm like, "I did database, I did Windows administration, I did networking." I'm like, I look at your system like, "What did you do to this poor thing?"
Yeah, no, my SQL stuff's really basic. Like my most complicated SQL, like I said, is really just summarize some data, write it to a temp table, and it's not much data. Like it doesn't take long to run, and then take that summarization of data for like a comparison, and then kind of using that comparison right to a table elsewhere to, like flow down data, right? So like we have like POP dates with projects that are, it only flows up the structure because that's the correct way for the data to flow, but they want it to flow down the structure too, and so to do that I have to take the like the max project level with the date and then extrapolate that down, kind of deal.
Gotcha.
Which is honestly not that hard.
Yeah.
But that's probably my most complicated thing that I've done.
Yeah, a lot of their loads they have to do, we actually take storage level snapshots now, most of their databases.
I'm glad we're turning this stream into a SQL support stream. I'm all for it. I'll talk about this for a while. Like, I'm fine with it, but I just find it funny.
It's like if there's something over 16 terabytes, and then we'll tell them you need to use the storage based perspective, and so we'll snapshot like 300 terabyte databases, and then the nice thing about the storage system that we use is that I can clone that whole database in like 2 seconds flat, and then now it's a copy, and then they can just mount the copy up as the reporting instance. So there's no need to like having to do like all these ETLs and stuff because we just copied the whole database in 2 seconds flat. Because they were like, this thing takes 16 hours to run, and we're already over what we can do. I'm like, well, that's a problem. You should either change your process or what you want to do, or do this other technology. And so,
and the main thing I get annoyed about is honestly like me dealing with RDBA, because I feel like RDBA almost doesn't trust my SQL scripts in a way, which it's their job not to.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm starting fresh to test the mods. Yep. But like, for example, the issue that the patch caused, I had to write a SQL script to get around it because it has financial impact to the company, and we can't have, the vendor's like, oh, it would be fixed next patch, which isn't for 2 months for us. so I'm like, okay, so for 2 months, financial impact is no bueno, so I have to come up with a solution. And then the whole time the DBA is just like, well, open a ticket with them and see if they can submit SQL scripts to us. I'm like, well, I mean, like, I know these tables very well. Like, I can do this. This is not that hard. I already have it written and tested, and the business signed off on it. And then, but they still want for audit reasons, which makes sense. Yeah. For, like, they want the vendor to basically come back with their version of the script, and then the vendor comes back with their version of the script, and I'm like, this is garbage. And then I have questions for them about their own SQL, and they can't answer it. And then my DBA is just like, well, keep pushing them. I'm just like, no, this is a waste of my time. Just run my damn script, and so I can just call it a day, please. Just like that's my annoyance. Like, I hate stuff like that.
Yeah, I've taken to the point. Yeah. I've taken to the point where I will write my own script or this and that, and then I will, like, if I need the vendor to sign, they need to, approve something, I will send it to them and say, this is the fix you guys told me to do. I wrote a script to do that. Do you bless this? And they come back and say, yes, we bless this. Boom, done.
I wish I could do that, because I do that. I sent the vendor my script, and they're like, we can't read this. And I'm just like, what do you mean you can't read this? And I'm like, well, we don't support your guys' scripts. And I'm just like, I'm just asking you if this will functionally solve your defect. And they're like,
Yep.
no, we can't confirm nor deny that this will fix it. And I'm just like, okay, well, thanks. That's what I ran into with that. So.
Yeah, that's always fun. Our wonderful journey to the cloud. I love it when my customers like, hey, we want to do this. The cloud vendor doesn't support that. They're like, what do you mean? We want that. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. They don't support that. And then they're like, we want them to do this because their maintenance breaks our stuff. So, like, then they're like, we want to have a phone call with them and make them do this, this, and this. And I'm like, you do realize, even though you're a large company in the country, right, that, they are a global company and they have millions of customers and they don't want to listen to what you say on that.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, it's their product. Like,
I know. I know.
Like, I hate it when the business tries to drive something that they just don't understand. It's pretty annoying.
Yeah, and so now we have to open up change tickets for any work the vendor does that we may not even know about until it's actually starting because, it's a thing. And I'm like, but if I don't know about it till like halfway through or even afterwards, what's the point? So, I don't know.
It'll help. Yeah, no, like the, I don't know. Are you guys dealing with CMMC all right? Or do you not have to worry about that?
That is on the customer to deal with.
Really? That's an interesting way to do that. Okay.
Well, no, because they're the ones that have the contracts with the country and everything, all that stuff.
Well, it's their data, right? So they have to manage it. But like, I'm surprised there's nothing you as like the data center would have to do in addition to. But maybe you're already meeting that level of compliance anyway, so there's nothing else for you to apply.
Possibly so. There's a chance that they may get those requirements and they turn them over to us with their letterhead or something on them, so that we're
because we're going to be doing
that's a lot of that stuff's done that way.
These
are the regulations the customer gets hit with, and then
they have to be. Rifts don't normally have something like this floating.
How do they want to deal with those? And they may have multiple choices. They send us the document that says this is how we want to do it, type of thing.
Okay, so it's based on their requirements, not for you to research. So, like, yeah, okay.
Correct. Unless they engage us as a new project to do that, they are just like, this is what we have to. This is what we're mandated by the government to do. Please follow that, or these are the options, and tell us which one is the one we can do.
Vanilla's off the table for good in the future. I occasionally go back to vanilla or like a lightly modded Vintage Story, but I've been playing Vintage Story for years, so for me it's gotta have some mods at this point. But on big updates and stuff, I like going back into vanilla. Yeah.
Uthris is an equal opportunity Vintage Story player.
Oh yeah, no, that's a great game.
All of the different flavors of the game. But yeah, so I will work on that stuff. Like I said, the VM's up, a whole bunch of stuff. I just need to load the Vintage Story software and mods and stuff, and then she's already prepped, loaded with Windows 11, ready to go. I just don't have. I didn't get a chance to get GS2 built out because I always like to have two of them running, just for other games going on. But since we are using GTX for 7 days, I appreciate it. So like,
basically. I think Equus might be the only one with the mod dependency I didn't give you for the server, but you should be able to find it on the mod page anyways. There's 2 dependencies now for the mod. I think when I made the list there was only 1.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. Stuff.
So yeah, no, if you get it up and running, just ping me, and I'm sure me and Squawk will kick the tires.
Yep.
So I appreciate.
What's your timeline looking at for before you release it out there for people to join and stuff? Next month. Okay.
Yeah, probably. If I had to guess, if you want a hard date, I can give you a hard date. That's not hard.
Well, I'm just is it the next 2 weeks, so to speak?
No.
Okay.
It's technically the weekend of the 25th of next month. Is
Okay,
what
cool.
I think.
I fear that most of us that normally have been playing with you on Vintage Story, I think we're going to be tied up for. I think we unofficially penciled in 2 weeks for 7 days. So that lines up perfectly with us having to, change, like, do every other night or things like that. Where that way we can
It would
focus
have been
on
a
one and
little
jump to the other
sooner,
one.
but I'm out of town on the weekend of the 18th, and I don't want to, miss a whole weekend of it, kind of deal. So.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna jump off here. I've got.
And then server
15
slot
minutes
wise,
to...
I'm thinking I'm gonna start with like 30 slots just to see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, that box is already set up with 32 or 64 gigs of RAM in it, so
Okay.
I went huge, and it's currently got 8 cores, 16 threads, so shouldn't be. Of course, we don't need that much except for on World Gen. So.
Well, and also this
should
version of Vintage Story, I think they optimized the RAM usage again. So
Good.
Hopefully the server will just cruise along. We're not using hundreds of mods.
Yeah.
And we're not.
Yeah, for the most part.
Using the trail mod either, that constantly tracks where you walk. So I think the server.
That was neat. I will say.
I really liked it. It's just that's a lot of information per block to maintain. Granted, I think it forgets it after so many days, but yeah, I don't know.
I know we never hit any other, because it was always like it was game server software that we were had the random issues with. The actual the VM. She just ran.
Yeah.
Didn't no care in the world and stuff. So okay, this is perfect. So
I mean the save file got up to what, 100 gig?
No, I think it was still under 32.
Oh, okay.
It was the biggest I've ever seen. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
But then we did have a lot more players this last time too.
Yep.
So
I'm hoping to see some really good builds,
But all right, I will let Red and guys know we're gonna jump in. We got 7 days starting in 14 minutes now. So I'm gonna hit the restroom, grab a bite to eat, and
appreciate it.
Yep, I'll ping you whenever I get things ready.
Thanks. Oh, server talk plus work talk. That's the best thing in the world. All right, what chisel mod? Chisel tools. It's just called chisel tools. That's the chisel mod that I use. It's basically the main one. Look at my grass pile, man. Alright, so we got the house is kind of there. I need to get a new fence for this little spot. And then I'm gonna move my silage out here, I think. Maybe throw a temporary roof on it. Do I have a shovel? Yeah. Wattle doesn't behave like other roofing, it seems. I won't bother putting a roof on it until maybe it rains or something like that, which it doesn't rain often in our area, so We don't really have to yet. But if push comes to shove, I'll just use like something. I'll use something. Maybe like half block mud brick kind of flat roof on here. Don't know. Great fox pelt. I think I can turn this into a hide, right? So that works. That's good. Grass turns into dry grass. Everything gets straw. Okay, some organization done. I need to get a water jug, I think, to start kind of holding some liquid. Also, we're gonna need a cooking pot, a crucible, and a bowl, I guess. Just coil these up. Sweet. God, that's the auto close. I can't wait to turn that off. Can't wait to turn that off. All right. That is started. Very good. Oh, rust sickness. Why did my mind shatter? I shouldn't have done that. Hey Dave, how's it going, bud? Good friend of the stream. This is fine. I'm sure I'm not gonna die at all from that stupid decision I just did. Why did I mess with magical stuff when I'm not ready? Now I know a good way, though, to quickly break my mind to sniff the rust dust, though. Alright, need some food. Don't mess with rust magic until unlock rust mage. Understand now. Don't do it. Bad things happen. Alright, so that stuff's cooking. We need more food. We need more food. I need to hunt more. And to do that, we probably need a butchery bag. Right? That is so many reeds. Ooh, that's a lot. Okay. So I need 44 of them, huh? Plus the ropes too. Dang, that is a lot of reeds. Just out of curiosity, anything in here? Hello? Any Jeffs? Okay, I don't want to go down farther than that. Nope. Wish I had something other than sandstone. I need to sharpen this knife. How's our knife actually looking? Head durability is 664. Not bad. Get the knife back on there. Use some rope. really need a different rock type. Up there has a decent amount. I mean, that's all gravel, but that's going to be the shortest route to do it. Alright. Let's make sure we don't trip and fall to our death again. Trying to cross the river to the north. Because that was rather embarrassing. Anyone else have any other questions, kind of like about what mods we have installed? Because you know, some of the stuff we have installed is really going to change the gameplay. If you join the multiplayer server and you're not ready for it, things like Toolsmith changes, you know, kind of like the tool crafting in a big way, and then things like hydrate or dihydrate. You're gonna need water to survive. Potentially boiling water, potentially making a water well. You're gonna need to bring like a water jug with you when you travel for longer periods of time. Art of growing, of course, really changes just farming holistically, so you're gonna have to kind of like domesticate crops over multiple generations. Okay, don't fall down there. This is while kind of crazy looking, this terrain right here is pretty cool. The one mod that I'm kind of worried about the most on this season is interesting ore gen. It makes the ore deposits a lot bigger, and I mean a lot bigger. And so because of that, it oh yeah, I changed the sheep texture. This is what the sheeps look like right now. I forgot. Look at that sheep. Hey niece, how's it going? Good to see you. Hope you guys are ready for the server at the end of next month. I'm just waiting for me to crest the hill and it just be a straight up moose looking into my eyes, and then I die. Okay, there's some elk. Oh man, there's gonna be potentially polar bear up here. Glacier ice used for anything? Ooh, cut ice. Slush. Melting rate for this. I don't know what ice is for. What is cut ice for? I have to look at food shelves. I wonder if that increases your storage capacity. Cut ice. Do I only have to use a saw? Oh, yeah. No, those are the summoned magical sauce. Alright, well, here's hoping that I don't die up here. All this just to try and get stones so I can sharpen tools. 30-day months. That's what the server's gonna have, so that's what I set this to. Which basically means, you know, 24 real hours is a month. Why don't I gotta go play 7 days? Yeah, yeah. I've never died in this game, so, you know, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I've never died. Even building in a place like this valley as like a desert build or something would be pretty cool. Like a Native American kind of mountainside sort of construction. I don't know why I'm forgetting what that's called. Glacier ice always the see-through? Like, man, it is hard to see the hills. Alright, so we need to get down now. Now that we have some stone to actually use. So that's gonna be a treat. Temperature up here, -2. Yep, just waiting for that bear. What's this? Oh my god, I can't see. I can't see the ground. Let's try going this way, I guess. Nope. Let's get a whetstone. Alright, I think I can make it down here. So long as the terrain doesn't do that too much. I'm gonna get launched off this cliff, aren't I? I'm just gonna get launched off this cliff. Oh, okay. Ah! Nope. I'm in a tree. Perfect. Nailed it. How long do big kilns take? It depends on the wood you use, or the fuel source. So if you look at pit kiln, firewood takes 20 hours, peat takes 16 hours, and brown/black coal takes 12 hours. Charcoal 10 hours. In game. So in my opinion, you know, if I fire a pit kiln in the morning, usually following morning will be done. It's kind of like just how I view it. See if our little well not doing anything yet. Those are flax. Soaked in 5 days. Alright, so what do we need to make better handles? I actually think it's just like firewood, isn't it? Crew tool handle. Yeah, it's just a firewood with a knife. Alright. Actually, I'm going to put these on a tool rack, I think. There we go. That'll be nice. Upgrade to our tools there. Store this, store that. Store that, store that. Now I'm pretty sure I can, yeah, I can make piles with stone now. That's pretty cool. I love piles. Piles in this game is just one of my favorite things about it. Alright, so butchery seems to be working. Clay seems to be working. Art of growing appears to be working. We are getting the different animal spawns. Rivers are working. Terra Pretty is working. Restaurant Magic. Functionally, we haven't tested it yet, but we are getting rift blooms and things spawning, which is a good sign. So that's good. Yeah. Well, you know, it just kind of makes build like a special storage building and have like a certain amount of it out, and then if you want more, then you can build more of a crate storage building, especially if you have better crates. So let's see, what else do I want to test here, mod wise? Chisel Tools has decorative tables now. That's cool. Symbols, that's cool. Decor Bazaar seems to have a little bit more stuff nowadays. I went ahead and added buoys for like ocean travel if people want to use them and stuff. You can have floating buoys to mark out your docks. That's pretty cool. Another cool mod is just food shelves. I'm pretty excited to use food shelves. They got like a whole bunch of food storage, kind of specific shelves and things, and cabinets and freezers, which I guess is gonna be what the ice is for. Of course, the beehives, we get all that. The board games would be cool. Block, soluble log. That is something I'm gonna test. Give me a saw. Gonna have to test that. That is a concern. You son of a... Alright. Let's see. Okay, it didn't crash. I'm gonna have to buff this, I think. There's a mod config to change the sawing and the manual wood. Yeah, that seems to be working fine. I think currently I have it to where the durability actually doesn't go down. Can I chop it? No. Now, does other saws go faster? Something I've never tested. Let's try like an iron saw. This is gonna be the most common saw people get. Might be based on tool tier, so this is tier 4. It is sawing faster. Probably like 20% faster. 30%? Do you get more than one at a time too? Nope, still just one. Oh, shoot. Wrong game mode for that. What else is we got here? I don't think we have water wheel this season. No, we don't have a water wheel. Got every color of watering can imaginable, though. I have not tested yet. Growing bed, which is like a whole thing to grow mushrooms. We got some cool new stone lanterns. People want to use these type of things around their builds. Pretty good. Of course, all the Rustbound Magic stuff. I haven't tested the actual grindstone yet. I'm actually really happy it has a little animation. And I can take apart a tool while looking at it. Or not. Okay. Maybe only higher tier stuff. Let's see. Yep. The cairns are there. Stone bake oven is there. Are probably story elements. Goblets. You guys want fancy drinking cups. Additional lantern options for everyone. Metal cooking pots, which I haven't necessarily tested yet. Metal crock. Ooh. What does that do? Bells. If I had to guess, this just stores maybe more servings, maybe 6 servings instead of 4 like the normal crock pot. It's kind of an interesting idea. I know the metal cooking pot metal so like the metal pot, see it's a little bit bigger. I'm pretty sure it can do more than 6 servings or something like that, right? So like if I do red meat, oh, can do 24 servings at once. That is pretty strong, I would say. But also, how long would it take to cook 24 servings? That's my question. Also, let's see if it crashes the game, because you never know. Okay, it has a little animation, just like the normal cooking pot. That's cool. Like that. Well, that kind of makes like the cooking XP a little rough, because the chef, what is it, fast cook? You can cook with 10% and additional 1%. It's faster. I mean, Canteen Cook technically would apply to this, I think. If I had 3 points in Canteen Cook, does that mean I could cook 48 servings? What? That's pretty crazy. Also, this would take forever to cook through. I'm fine with that. It takes the same amount of time, in a way. It's a proper crock pot, you know? You start it in the morning and you come back in the afternoon. Kind of deal. And it would go through a lot of wood. Or peat. Or coal. Whatever you want to fire it with. Coal burns longer now, right? Charcoal, 40 seconds. Black coal, 84 seconds. Brown coal, 77 seconds. Okay. What is that? Oh, that is a cool D6 die. This would take forever. But 24 servings at once is kind of nice. Tryable for 80 days. While it's cooking, it's not. 24 servings at FTVs too. That would be crazy. Alright, well, tell you what, guys. It's been like 3.5 hours. I need to get dinner and stuff ready. Did a decent amount of testing. I haven't ran into a single issue, which is such a good sign, especially since we upgraded to 120.12. So this is the version of the game that we're going to be running on the server, 120.12. We're gonna have rivers. We're gonna have Terra Pretty, Rustbound Magic, a bunch of immersive kind of stuff, but otherwise nothing to hinder progression. X skills, of course, will make things a little bit more rewarding the longer you play, but I think it'll be a good server, honestly. So I'll wait for General to stand up an actual test server, and then I'll do some testing over the next couple of weeks. And then, of course, if you guys are a paid member of the channel, keep an eye out for stuff in the kind of members only area of our Discord, and we'll see notifications when the server's going to go live, and also the server information for those people there. So thanks everyone for chilling today. Hope you guys have a good upcoming week. And tomorrow, honestly, I might stream Town to City. I might check it out here a little bit on my own today, just to kind of look at it to see if it's worth it. But Town to City did look good. So Dadman, thanks for suggesting that. GG. Actually, let's send you somewhere. Can I send you guys somewhere? Who's streaming? People are always streaming here. Boom. Go say hi to Red. Give him a new woo.